My name is Angela. This is, you've watched, Hi friends, it's Angela. Welcome back to the Fit Curls. Today, as part of our New Year's series throughout January, I'm going to be showing you my current winter curl styling routine. It's a little bit different than the styling routine that I use through the rest of the year, and as I'm doing my hair, I'm going to explain why. So, without further ado, let's get going. As always, I'm starting with super duper wet hair. It's not dripping all over me, but you can really see that it's still fully saturated with water. If it starts to dry out at any point during the styling process, I'm going to use my continuous mist spray bottle, which I'll link in the description box below. This thing has been a lifesaver for my curl styling process. And the reason I'm going to rely so much on water is that I do have fairly high porosity hair. I'm a solid grade 3 to 4 porosity since I use bleach on my hair and I had a little bit of heat damage. So I won't necessarily use a ton of product, but in order to lock moisture into my hair, I need to make sure that it's really, really wet. Okay, now that the bottom has been sectioned off, checking to make sure it's still nice and wet, I'm gonna give it a quick little extra spritz per side. And then I'm gonna start in with my curl cream, which is the Redken Curvaceous Ringlet Shape Perfecting Lotion. Now, why am I using this instead of my constant favorite Cake Beauty? Let me explain. Starting out with about 4 pumps there. Decently thick consistency. You can see it's, they call it a lotion for a reason. It's got a little bit of run to it, and water is still the first ingredient, but it's not super runny. It's gonna help to lock a lot of that moisture in. Oh my gosh, this smells like it smells like an expensive salon. Now, the reason I switched up my products is for a pretty simple reason, and it's for strictly one ingredient that appears in a lot of curl creams and curl styling products in general, and that is glycerin. Now, glycerin is particularly an issue really anywhere that the air gets extremely moist or extremely dry. And that is because glycerin is a humectant. What a humectant does is it attracts moisture. It kind of equalizes the moisture exchange so that everything retains the same amount of moisture. Now, the problem arises in summer. If the air is super humid, glycerin's gonna attract a ton of moisture into your hair, which is gonna open up the cuticle, and it's going to cause your hair to swell and frizz. In the winter, it's almost the exact opposite. Glycerin will literally take the moisture out of your hair and deposit it into the air, which is going to have less moisture in it naturally than your hair does at that moment. So for that reason, throughout the winter, especially here in New York, we avoid glycerin. So, as you can see, I use my Denman brush styling technique there. Just going through with the Denman, giving a little twist at the end. And for now, I'm going to shake it and let the curls just kind of settle all the way through. And we're going to move on to the rest of my hair. Now, before I ever put any styling product in my hair, I have thoroughly prepped it by shampooing and really scrubbing at my scalp to make sure that all the buildup is gone and that my scalp itself is nice and moisturized. All of us know how dry your scalp and your skin in general can get in the winter, and it's important to remember that your scalp is skin. So you have to take care of it as if it's skin and make sure that it gets all the love and moisture that it needs. Now, the second thing that I always make sure I do when I shower, which is, well, you know, I shower every day, but I only wash my hair about twice a week. So every time I wash my hair, I deep condition. I try not to use products that are too crazy thick or go over the top with conditioners because you can get hygrophobia in your hair where it starts to reject water. But because I do have dry, porous hair, as a lot of us with curly hair do, I find it extremely important to deep condition to lock as much moisture into my hair as possible. So today what I used as my masks were the Macadamia Beauty Deep Repair mask, and I also layered that with Shea Moisture's yogurt and manuka honey protein treatment mask. Those two combined, the protein and all that deep moisture from the macadamia and that manuka honey, really helps to just seal moisture into my hair and make it as soft and ready for styling as possible before I ever go in with any styling products. That always sets me up for my style lasting several days, which is super important if you're only washing your hair twice a week. And the last thing that I want to tell you guys is that when I rinse out my conditioner, especially my deep conditioner, I don't rinse all of it super thoroughly out. Now here's the thing. If you're using a conditioner where the directions say to rinse thoroughly, rinse thoroughly. Don't leave conditioner in that's not meant to be left in. That's not going to do good things to your hair. So make sure that if it says rinse thoroughly, you listen to the package. But I like to leave just a little bit of that deep conditioner on, especially my mids and ends. I'll give it a nice rinse at the root, maybe even rub the last of that moisture in around the root section in order to make sure that it gets, as clean as possible to minimize any itch that I might get throughout the week from buildup on my scalp, but also to just give that extra little bit of moisture love to my hair before I put any styling product in, which usually means that I have to use less of the styling product, which, I consider that a pretty major win. On to our last steps here. And I wanted to explain also why I'm using the Denman brush rather than doing something a little bit more simple like I did in my first Cake Beauty styling routine. And that's because, number one, the Denman brush really makes this process go very quickly, but also I'm going for maximum definition in my hair. A lot of us over the course of the winter will wind up kind of losing the shape of our curls to frizz, which is just, it's not ideal. So when it comes to using a method like the Denman brush or finger coiling your hair, that's going to be a much safer bet for the course of the winter months to make sure that your curls are popping and really last through the styling process. Now that the curls are super defined and moisturized with zero wet frizz, just really nice defined clumps, we're going in with what should be a pretty familiar product to you guys so far. The Curl Whip from Cake Beauty. I will never not be obsessed with this stuff. This is the best mousse I have ever found for really strong but touchably soft hold. And now, I have gels that work too, including Aveda's Flaxseed Aloe Gel, which I'll actually use a lot during refreshes. But when it comes to hold over the winter months, especially if you have fine textured hair, it is really hard to go wrong with a mousse. Why? Mousses often have a thickening effect on your hair. So they're gonna provide all sorts of volume to your hair, which, thanks to the dryness in the air, may just straight up disappear. So if you're finding that you're really struggling with volume in the winter, I cannot recommend any product more than this amazing mousse from Cake Beauty. So, what you're seeing me do here is kind of what I always do with my mousse. I glaze it over my hair, good amount of it, and I scrunch and scrunch and scrunch and scrunch until all of the white, that sign of the mousse, just disappears. And I'm flipping my hair back and forth here to give me as much volume at the root as possible. Now, I took a gigantic handful of mousse. Something I struggle with in the winter and in general is hold in my hair. So once this first layer of mousse gets scrunched all the way in, I'm going in again. I'm not saying all of you need to do this, but because this is such a moisturizing and solid hold product, this is what I choose to do with it. And I've found that it gives me really nice, pliable, touchably soft results that actually last me for like 4 to 5 days. Almost there. You can see how getting some really nice definition and thickness in these curls. Now, I will also tell you that my hair is totally saturated with both product and water right now. And it's gonna take, well, I don't know, about 7 years to dry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take just an old cotton t-shirt. And I'm gonna use this t-shirt to microplop my hair. I have not found that a full plop where I roll my hair all the way up in the t-shirt actually does anything for me. In fact, it usually makes my results look a little bit less consistent. But microplopping can help to get some of that excess moisture out. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gather some of the hair in the towel and I'm gonna squeeze it gently up, give it a little squeeze, just as if I was scrunching normally without the towel. And I'm just gonna watch those curls get more and more defined. If it gets really soggy, just move to a drier section of the t-shirt. Another option for this is a microfiber towel, like the Diva towel. But even so with microfiber, make sure it's a really, really fine microfiber. Terry cloth towels, all they're gonna do is cause a ton of frizz. So the softer, the better. You want something that feels like the softest cotton you've ever slept on, or velvet. Anything just soft and cozy that can really just coddle your hair as you're working with it. Now that my hair is fully styled, it's time to make sure that it gets dried. And in winter, you gotta diffuse. Even if you're not normally a diffuser person, this is the time to do it. Now, why is that? Because if you go outside with this much moisture in your hair, with temperatures below freezing, what do you think is gonna happen? Your hair is gonna freeze. You're gonna wind up with little curlsicles all over your head. And when you get back inside into the warmth of artificial heat, those icicles are gonna melt, which is going to swell the cuticle of your hair and cause everyone's arch nemesis with curly hair, frizz. Best way to avoid that is make sure your hair is completely and totally dry before you ever step outside. And the #1 way to do that is to diffuse. Now, I use a hover diffusing technique. I'm gonna link the video where I show that technique to you, including with the timestamp down below. So that way you guys can watch how I dry my hair for 0 frizz in the drying process. And I will be back with dry hairs. Here we go. So these are my dry results after just doing the simplest steps. Curl cream, curl mousse, diffuse. And as you can see, I have the bounciest, softest results to the touch. Seriously, guys, this stuff is magical. And they're not paying me to say this either. I really am just that enthusiastic about this particular product. I have never experienced such awesome results as I do from this mousse, from this whole hairline in general, but especially from this mousse. And because it's glycerin-free, you will be able to use it all winter long without feeling all that moisture get sucked out of your hair by the dry winter air. So there we have it. That's my full winter routine as of right now. I really do try to keep things super simple. So guys, if you have any questions at all, or if there's anything that you want to know about in a future video from me, please, please, please just let me know. And that's all for today. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so that way you don't miss a single thing that we've got coming up for you on our channel. My name is Angela and you've been watching The Fit Curls. See you next time. Bye.